Hello, everybody. We are back here on day 6 of the main event. I'm with, of course, a very familiar face, and this is a very intense time in the poker tournament, so I want you to know how much I appreciate you taking the time on the break to talk to us. Now, first things first, you just got moved to a feature table, which you guys can all watch if you want to see all the action going on, but I would argue that this is definitely not the table that anyone wants to be at this point in the tournament. Antonio Esfandiario, Dario Sammartino, Chris Hooney, a lot of big stacks, a lot of great players. So talk to me a little bit about just your thoughts on moving into this position.
I'm used to playing with really tough players, and I think once you start whining or focusing on how hard your table draws, you need to play who's out there, you need to beat who's out there. There's good players in the tournament, there's bad players in the tournament. You don't have any control over your table draw, and I just think you need to, deal with it, try to play as good as possible versus the players you're playing against.
That's such a great attitude. I think that's such a smart move. And obviously, you're one of the best players in the world. You can play with anyone. Now, when I first saw yesterday, obviously you qualified from 888. I was looking at the list of qualifiers. It didn't seem like you had a particularly substantial stack. And then coming into the day today, you came in second in chips. So obviously, you must have had some big hands. You must have played some big pots. Can you talk to me about an interesting hand that came out of yesterday?
Yeah, well, I got my start yesterday just winning two pretty big flips. I won Ace Jack suited versus nines and Queens versus Ace King, so that got me up to about 4 million. And then from that point, I had a little more playability, a little more maneuverability, and I feel even some of the VOA Best tournament players, when they get deep for high stakes, aren't necessarily the sharpest with 100 big blinds. I had a couple kind of fun bluffs where I felt people were maybe just sort of auto c-betting or just betting a little too much kind of for information, and then I could put pressure on them. One of the hands was, geez, I hope I have his name right.
No one will judge you, it's fine.
But I opened hijack, Andy Huang, flatted button. The flop, we were about 100 blinds deep. The flop is 10, 9, 8, 2 diamonds. I had king 7 of diamonds, so I had flush draw and an open endo, but my open endo is not very, it's kind of dangerous. Like the jack fills the queen. I guess if I hit the 6, it's pretty nice, but even 100 blinds deep, you still need to be worried about a queen jack. And so I mean, obviously if I hit a 6, I'm happy. I mean, if I hit a diamond, I'm loving it, but because my hand, I don't necessarily think I think there are a couple of things here. I think deep, this is a board that's pretty tricky for me, and if I start putting in money now, then when the scary turn cards come off, I have a lot of trouble with hands like, aces or kings, or even 2-pair sets, top pair. So I decided to play this spot a little more passive. I check, Andy bets, I want to say like 80 into 280, something like that. Again, I guess this is the 40K big blind, so we're probably about 4 million deep, maybe a little less. But I have the options to raise or to call. I think both are kind of attractive, but I think deep in the main event, maybe I want to play a little more cautious, don't want to risk. Like I just, seeing the other tables, you see some of the big folds people are making, because I don't know that much about Andy, but I'm still a little concerned with some of the people that's deep in the main event. If I raid the flop and even hit my flush, that I'm not really getting paid off that much. So I decided to just call. The turn is a blank, which there aren't too many of on that board, but I don't know, like 4 of hearts, 5 of hearts, something like that. I check, he bets 2/3, which is about 280. At this point, I think it's a pretty good spot to raise. I can get him to fold, ace 10, probably not jack 10 or queen 10, but maybe, I don't know, people make big folds in the main event. Maybe I could get him to fold as strong as 2-pair, definitely could get him to fold 1-pair. All his bluffs, even king queen, king jack, ace jack were doing pretty well versus me, so getting those hands to fold is good. And then also, even though I have the open endo, I think if I get shoved on the turn, then I think a lot of the times I just have a flush draw, because my open endo, he is queen jack, and my open endo is no good. So, and then similarly, if I can get him to fold a hand like king queen, where king queen or ace queen, where the jack ends up actually being a bad river for me, and one where I probably need to put in some money. That's good. So I decided to make it, I think, 850, and he tanked for a little, and I got the fold. So
You gave me a little sweat there, even just right there, which I think it's interesting in how you're having to approach the main event slightly differently than you would. Obviously, you've been in plenty of tournaments that are 100,000,
Yeah.
25,000, but how people are maybe more apt to fold, but also you're looking at things a little more cautiously. Do you think everybody approaches this tournament with slightly different approaches than regular ones?
Yeah, I think everyone does. I think there's also more of a feeling out process when you're playing a super high roller. Everyone has experience playing with everyone. If you try to like sort of get away with stuff one tournament, the next tournament people will be like, oh, I saw you doing that last tournament. I'm not letting it get through this time. You might need to write a speeding ticket or two. Here it's just more of I might never play with this person again. Certainly might never play for them again for such high stakes. So if there's anything I think can in the moment win me a little more chips, you just go for it and hope it works out.
Oh my gosh, well, I just wish you so much luck. It's so great to see you here in this spot. Thank you guys so much. You're with us here. Good luck, my man. You're on PokerNews.com.